Today, we're going to cover all things right signature and requesting signatures in bulk via right signature template. There's a few things to point out before we dive into everything else. So, the first thing to point out is to use this feature, you do have to have a right signature account. With the standard plan, your subscription comes with one right signature user. You do have the ability to add on right signature users. So if after seeing this feature today, you decide you want to add on extra right signature license to your subscription, you can reach out to us at support@myfirm360.com and we'll get you set up with that. It's $300 per year per user. If you have the premium plan with Firm360, that does give you unlimited right signature subscription users. So you can just email us at support and we can add in whoever you need us to add in. Another thing to keep in mind is that because these templates are private, each right signature user will have to create the templates. So I'll show you where all that is as we dive into things. So first things first, you're going to want to make sure that your right signature account is connected to Firm360. To do this, you'll click that gear in the upper right-hand corner next to your name. Click right signature, and then you can see who within your firm is connected to right signature and their email address. If you have a connection issue, you can always disconnect, reconnect, and as always, you can email us at support. The next thing you're going to do once you're sure you're connected is you're going to go log into right signature. So when you log in, you'll see this screen. You'll have all of your documents that you've sent out for signature. You'll have your account information, everything over here on this left side. You'll see right here it says template, and you will want to come add a new template. I already have a few templates created for today's training that I'm going to use, but this is how you would add your own template when getting started. I'm going to go ahead and use this questionnaire. So I'm going to click the details and I'm going to edit it. Once you click create template and you upload your document, you are going to be prompted to this screen here. It's going to say prepare document. You're just going to click the prepare document. You're going to want to make sure that this stays exactly how it is and just says signer one. Another thing to note with this feature, you can only request one signature. So this is going to be for any document that just requires one signature. This is going to stay signer one. You're going to click next place fields. This is where I have a questionnaire here for you. This is just a sample questionnaire that I've pulled in for today's training, but this is going to be a way that you can turn your questionnaire into a form, send it out in bulk. You will use these request items on the right-hand side of the screen. You will see how I already have boxes placed over some of these boxes, and I'm going to go through a few more. I'm going to use this checkbox group. What you'll see here when I select checkbox group, I'm going to place it over the checkbox and two boxes appear. This is just right signature saying they notice two checkboxes. They're going to place a group right next to each other. Now, if I click on it, you'll see that this is a required field and only one within the group needs to be checked. That's just saying when your client is filling out this questionnaire, they're going to be forced to check either the yes column or the no column. You can obviously uncheck required field to make it not required. The next thing to point out would be anywhere where there could be a spot for your client to add text or any writing, you're going to want to place a text field. You'll continue to set up your form here, and when you have everything ready, again, I'm skipping all this for training purposes, but you would keep going through, get a good cup of coffee, power through it, and then you won't have to revisit it. I added a signature and a date at the bottom just so that you can see what it looks like coming back into Firm360. Again, you might not need to require that on your forms. You're going to click this next review button when it looks exactly how you want it to. It's going to pop up this normal screen that you're used to seeing in RightSignature where it says personalized message. A little misleading here because this is a template that you're going to send out in bulk. It is not going to be personalized. You're going to want to make sure if you add a message that you keep it very generic, knowing that it's going to go to a big group of clients. Just something generic. Please fill out this questionnaire, whatever it may be, keep it generic. Then when it looks how you want, you'll click Save Template or Update Template. One thing to keep in mind here that is very important is you're going to want to set this template to private. Toggle this on. That way you have access, only you have access. Not all of our other Firm360 users will see this as long as you have that toggled to private. So we've walked through, we've set up our templates. I have 2 set up for today. I have a engagement letter and a questionnaire. I'm going to show you the engagement letter as well, just so you can see what it looks like. Again, this is a sample. The biggest difference, I know some of you are using document templates right now to create your engagement letters. While document template, you can add in those personalized values to personalize your engagement letters. With RightSignature templates, you cannot. So this would be a very standard engagement letter, and I have just added a place for signature, name, and date. So you'll notice it's not going to say Dear Cindy Bradford. It's not going to say her name throughout it or have the date throughout it because you cannot personalize this. So it's going to have to be a generic engagement letter with just that name signature at the bottom. Obviously, you could leave blanks throughout it for them to fill in their information if needed. Okay, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. So we have our templates created. We are going to come back into Firm360 and we are ready to send these out in bulk. So you can come to client. You would filter in your group of clients that you would like to send these items to. We're going to start with the engagement letter. I'm going to filter in all of my individual clients. They're all going to show up here. This is our demo account. Obviously, we don't have a ton of clients, but if you have more than that standard 50 to 100 that you see, you're going to want to make sure to scroll down and click Show 500 per page. What that's going to do is it's going to filter in all 500 clients into one page. Some firms, you might have a couple pages of 500 clients. This All button that we're going to click to the left here is only going to apply to those 500 clients on page 1. So if you have more than 500 individuals, you will have to go through those few pages and do this multiple times. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to click this bulk request, RightSignature, template, signature. It's going to pop up this screen here, request template signature. This is important. You're going to want to click this sync button. This sync button is going to sync in all of the latest version of your document. So once you create that template or you edit any templates, you're going to want to sync. I would just sync it up every time to make sure it pulls over the correct version. You're going to select your template. Each RightSignature user is going to need to create their templates. If Cindy logs in to send out signature, she's not going to see my templates because they're set to private in my account. I chose this sample engagement letter, and now I'm going to choose who received it. You have 2 options here. You can choose the primary contact or the billing contact if available, otherwise primary. Selecting the second option just means if there is a billing contact selected, it will send it to that person. If there is not one selected, it's going to default to the primary. I'm going to send this engagement letter to all of my individual primary contacts and hit submit. So in that 5 or 6 clicks, I have sent out all of my engagement letters to all of my individual clients. They have all gotten them in their inbox saying they have a document to sign. In my Firm360 platform, I can see all of those. If I go to the Documents tab and scroll down to the bottom to show all signature requests, and it shows all of those that I just sent out and their status. Because I sent them, I have the remind and cancel button. If Cindy logged into Firm360 platform, she would see the request. She would just not see this remind and cancel button. Only the person requesting the signature has that remind and cancel button here. So that is all you have to do on the firm side to send out a signature. I'm going to go ahead and also send out that form just so you can see what it looks like. The tax questionnaire, primary contact, submit. So within 2 minutes, and I did some talking in between, I have sent out a tax questionnaire and an engagement letter to all of my individual contacts. So I am going to pass it over to Cindy, and she's going to show you what your clients will experience on their side. And then I'll share again and show you what you'll see on the firm side once it's returned.
So once Ashley sends those requests out, your client's going to go into their email and they're going to receive a notification from RightSignature. They're going to open the notification and they're going to have a blue button that's going to say review and sign document. I'm doing the engagement letter first that she sent out. They're going to see the boxes. This is for the signature. They're just simply going to click on it. They'll add their signature, select apply, the name, type in their name, and the date. And it'll prompt them for a calendar that they can select the date. Hit submit. And that one has been submitted. All right, here's the form. But here we go. Here's your form. This is where they can select yes, no for the questions. The text, they can enter an answer for the questions or the explanations. You'll just continue selecting the answers for each of those questions on the form. And then at the bottom, they'll select the boxes for the signature and the date, and they will hit submit. I'm going to give it back to Ashley, and she is going to show you how it's pulled into Firm360.
All right. So first, I'm going to show you, I got to my email saying that these documents had been executed. So you will get that notification from RightSignature, but you will also see it come in to Firm360. The other thing to note is you saw Cindy do this through her email. Because RightSignature sends an email directly to the client, they will also see this on their portal. So if you have a client that sees the portal versus email, they can log into their portal and complete it there as well. Once your client has completed these two things, you can go into them as a client, go to their documents tab, and this is where you will see both of those things come directly in. So once Cindy hit submit complete, they came directly into Firm360. I have her engagement letter here. Scroll down, I can see it signed. You can always change the name of your document here if you need to rename the document when you're looking at it. So I know some firms like to make sure that it has been seen, so they'll change the name to match something within their system. So you can always change that name by just clicking the rename document, typing whatever you need to rename it, and applying the changes. I'm going to show you what that form looks like. So here you can see all of her little check marks down, and she has signed the form. Again, there's this audit trail from RightSignature that comes in automatically as well. So that is where you can see both of those documents within the client. I'm going to show you the next layer to this feature is you can embed this in your project templates. So keep in mind that you have to have the admin role to access this customizations page. So if you are not an admin user, somebody within your firm is, and they can do this here. You can come into your project template. I'm just going to use this 1040 individual tax return to demonstrate this today. But within this template, you have this client action section. You can add in these bulk request signatures within the template. What this essentially means in this template that I have created is I have this client action of sign engagement letter, add that RightSignature template signature to go out when my project hits that status of not started. So this is essentially saying January 1st, when all of my individual tax return projects are created, it's automatically going to send that engagement letter out to all of my primary contacts for my individual clients that are assigned this project for them to complete this signature request. If you click the edit button next to it, just so you can see how it's set up, I've given it the title, sign engagement letter, create on the status of not started. The type of client action is this RightSignature template signature. I pulled in my sample engagement letter template. The primary is going to receive it. So the next thing I've added here is to fill out the questionnaire. For training purposes, I have it going out when my project hits that status of initial information request. Set it up the same way, just pulled in that different template of the questionnaire and associated it with the status of initial information request. My project is driven by these status transition rules. So essentially, these rules are going to be what automatically moves your project. So this is saying when my project hits that status of initial or of not started and 30 days pass. So January 1st, my project's created in the not started status. 30 days pass. So January 31st, my project is automatically going to go into initial information request, which in turn is going to send out that text questionnaire and that document request. So previously, many people have their project set up to send out a form within Firm360, which is still an option. If you've built your forms there, you don't need to change the way you're doing things. This is just going to be a personal preference for your firm. This will still work the same way when your client complete both of their client actions. If you have a status transition rule to move your project along, it picks up that signature and says, oh, that's done. It will move it along as well. I'm going to show you quickly what this would look like if you assign it out to a client. So I'm going to come into my clients. I'm going to use Santa Claus here. I'm going to assign him a 1040 tax return. And I'm going to click save. Most of yours would have a recurring project up here that would kick off. It's in the status of not started. I have my 1040 individual tax return project. If I come to this documents page, you can see that I have sent out that engagement letter. I got that email as Santa Claus's primary contact to sign the engagement letter. So you will see here, review inside. So right now I'm playing Santa Claus, right? I'm not acting as the firm. I would come, sign my engagement letter as Santa Claus, select the date, submit. Now coming back in to Santa Claus and his projects, you're going to see that document came in here. It is stored within this project. It is done. My project is still going to stay in that not started status until 30 days pass based on my rules. But once I move to initial information requests, that next RightSignature template with the questionnaire will go out along with the document request, and my project would flow as normal. This just shows you how you can now send out engagement letters within a project template. A few things to keep in mind when thinking about setting these up. If you decide you want to utilize this within a project template, whoever has created the form in RightSignature or the engagement letter, whichever it is, whoever is the owner of that RightSignature template is going to be the one that needs to come add in the client action. So because I've created those two templates for the engagement letter and the tax questionnaire, Paige could not come in and add that as a client action because she is not the owner of those templates, they do not appear on her RightSignature account. So just keeping that in mind, you have to be really mindful in who's adding in the client actions, that they own that form and it is theirs. If you are setting this up in project templates or need help at all with anything, you can always email us at support@myfirm360.com, and we're happy to set up a call with you. We knew everyone would be excited about it. We didn't want you to have to wait until next week to get a demo or information on it. So today was a little preview.